everyone and welcome to my channel. So today I'm giving you my first reaction on season 4 of Love is Blind that just came out on Netflix, and I have to admit I'm a big fan of the show, but it is my guilty pleasure. I've been following since season 1. I watched the Brazilian version. I know there's a Japanese version which I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but I really like the Brazilian one. So I got my couples right here in my notes. So let's start with Brett and Tiffany. I really like Tiffany. I'm rooting for this couple, but I'll let you know at the end what I think of them. She's 36 years old, and I think maybe it's because of her age, she's the most mature and chill person of the season. I did not like that she said that she feels kind of embarrassed that she's 36 and she still hasn't found her person. I was like, oh man, this ageism culture that we live in. 36? You're still young at 36. There's a lot of people that don't find their person until they're in their 40s. And a lot of people, and I see my friend circle that got married at 25, 26, and then 10 years in, or half of them are divorced. So getting married at a young age and finding your person, doesn't mean it's a long-lasting relationship. So kids out there, it's okay to wait. Don't settle for less in your 20s. You got your whole life ahead of you. Even if you're 36, if you haven't found your person yet, doesn't mean your life is over. The funniest part about Tiffany and Brett's relationship, it was when she fell asleep on him. Oh my goodness, my jaw dropped on the floor. I was like, can we get a producer in? So Brett is like pouring her, his heart out to her, and then she's all, comfortable on the couch and laying on the couch, and then boom, she falls asleep, and he's like, hello, hello, Tiffany, hello, hello. And then if I was him, I wouldn't be worried about the person on the other side of the pod. It's like, did they have a heart attack? Did they have a seizure? I'll be like, producers, anyone, can you knock on that door? And of course the producers got two of the girls, it was Chelsea and another girl, to wake her up, and they wake her up with that Usher song, hey, hey, hey daddy. But I almost felt like she was drunk. I don't think she fell asleep because she was tired. Like, what was in that cup of hers? Because when she woke up, when you wake up and you're tired, you're just like, whoa, I fell asleep. Oh my God, you kind of like hyped up. And she's like, hey, 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 daddy. And I was like, are you drunk, Tiffany? But anyway, so Brad, it's all mad. But when they meet again, she apologizes because she's very mature. She explains that it was a long day, she was tired. And then she says, your voice was so soothing that I fell asleep. You're just tired. Next time have a Red Bull, have some coffee. Brett was fine. He got over. He even said that, it was just a little hump in our story, that in the future it will be a funny story to tell. And he goes ahead and proposes to her. Now, who do we have? Marshall and Jaclyn. I thought they were cute at first, but after she had that moment, and she called it a moment in Mexico, and I think it was more of a panic attack, I don't think they're gonna last. I think it will be too much for him to handle. I really think she needs therapy before diving into marriage, because she kept saying, oh, this is not reality, this is a dream, like their vacation in Mexico. She's like, oh, we need to go back to reality. And she's like, I have to go back to my family. I have all these people that I need to take care of. I think she has all that baggage that it will be too much for Marshall. By the way, Marshall reminds me a lot of Jesse Williams. That actor, beautiful. It's like dark skin, light eyes from, I think from Grey's Anatomy. Marshall looks like a smaller, shorter version of Jesse Williams, like a younger brother. And Jaclyn, it's the spitting image of Selena. Remember Jennifer Lopez, Selena, the Texan singer who, unfortunately passed away? Jaclyn looks just like Selena. Still on Marshall and Jaclyn, I did not like that Marshall got so upset with Josh, because Josh told Jackie she was between Marshall and Josh Josh told her that if it wasn't her for him, he would pack his things and go. So she told Marshall that, and Marshall went back to the living quarters, of the men, and he's like, were you the one that told her you pack your things and blah, blah, blah? It's just like, Marshall, do you know what type of show you sign up for? all the women you talk to, they're also talking to other men, and they can wait as long as they want to make their decision. Paul and Mika. Is it Mika or Micah? I think it's Mika. I'm not going to talk a lot about them because they're very boring and I don't think they're going to last. Seems like Paul, he said on his bio that he wants a granola girl and he wants someone that can get down and dirty. He even said, if you go on the Netflix website, he says, I want a girl that can pull up her sleeves and go to New Orleans to a boil in New Orleans. And when they're driving that dirt car in Mexico, she's like, she doesn't seem like she wants to be outdoors. She's like, oh my gosh, there's dirt in my eyes. I feel like I need to take a shower right now. I'm gonna go back and forth between Mika and Micah. I can't like turn on Netflix again and figure out how you pronounce her name, but anyway, bear with me. So she was between Kwame and Paul. And we didn't learn much about her. She doesn't talk about herself a lot. And I think, I don't know if it was planned or not, she kind of used herself as a mirror to whoever she was talking to. Like whatever the other guy would say, she would kind of like, oh yeah, me too. But you know, you don't learn anything from her. I actually think she played both Kwame and Paul. And then the fact that she said she likes to surround herself with genuine people, it was so ironic to me because she ends up being BFFs with mean girl Irina. Like Jaclyn said, they were freaking frack. They were so toxic and like survived on drama. Remember when Paul and Amber, they had their Mardi Gras date? They were laughing at them at the women's living quarters, Mika and Irina. They were laughing and called them losers. I was like, oh, you girls are nasty. Kwame and Chelsea. I really like Chelsea. She seems very mature. She seems like the type that cuts BS from its roots. Like the conversation that Kwame had with Mika, she's like, look, it was very disrespectful. This cannot happen again. And if it does happen again, like you're done. Kwame at the beginning when we meet him, he seemed very sweet. He actually reminded me of, because he said he's a soccer player, so he reminded me of that guy in Ted Lasso, the really sweet one that gets with Hannah. So Kwame reminded of him, but the more I saw of him, he actually started reminding me of SK and Bartiz. Two people you don't want to be associated with. Kwame said that he didn't want to use his real name on the show because he said when he was younger, he couldn't pick up his prom date because he was black. And his first name, it's Alex. Alex Kwame pa. And I don't know if he's from Ghana or Nigeria or Ethiopia, somewhere in Africa, but he doesn't have an accent like SK. SK, when you talk to him, even if you didn't see him and he said he was from Ghana, you would know he's black. Kwame, if he had used Alex, he doesn't have an accent at all. He sounds like any other white guy out there. So I don't know if sometimes the little things that people say, like, do they want, like, do they think like, no, I want them to know that I'm black? Or no, if I use Alex, she would think I was white and she would pick me for the wrong reasons. It's very interesting because I think the premises of the show, it's not know anything about the other person's looks. We see at the beginning of the season, because they always show little outtakes, you know, almost like American Idol, of the people that don't make it. There's this guy, is it Bill? I can't remember, but he says he loves wearing leopard and he's in a leopard shirt and he's talking to the Asian girl. I don't know why she didn't make it because she was beautiful. She was very, very pretty. But Wendy, her name, but he asked her, I don't know if she said something to him, but he asked her, are you Korean? Are you Japanese? Are you Taiwanese? And I was like, I thought you weren't supposed to ask those questions. I thought it was like a, you know, unwritten rule of the show. Because I thought in season 1, you couldn't ask how tall they were or their shoe size. But there is some things that when you ask their occupation, like when Bartiz said, was it Bartiz? Yeah, I'm a personal trainer. You know he's gonna be fit. when Kwame says, I'm a soccer player. You know, unless he retired and sat on the couch and ate McDonald's for the last of, few years, you know he's going to be fit by being a soccer player. So even saying your occupation, sometimes you get a clue of how they look like. Colleen and Matt. As soon as Colleen said to all the guys in the pods that she was a ballerina, all the guys got a boner because they're like, ooh, ballerina, ooh, she's flexible, ooh, she knows how to dance, oh, ballerina. They all start drooling. Back to Kwame and Chelsea. That little chat that he had at the pool with Mika was so disrespectful to Chelsea. Like, and the fact that she had to watch that, it's okay to have that talk because he said he was looking for closure, but it didn't seem like it was serious talk. It was a very flirtatious talk. They're very close to each other. They're like touching and smiling. I know the alcohol was flowing. They're all taking shots. And you know what they say, loose lips sink ships. And once again, some of them on their 20s. I've made my share of mistakes in my 20s. One story I can remember, I was dating a guy, and then there was another guy. We all worked together. There was another guy that I had a thing with. We were talking at the bar. Once again, alcohol's flowing. We were talking, we're very close, we're smiling. It was flirtatious. And I remember I smell his armpit. Bear with me, it's an inside joke. I smell his armpit, and then my boyfriend at the time saw that, and we had a conversation. I can't remember if it was the next day or a couple of days later. He said what hurt him the most was the fact that I smelled that guy's armpit. Come at me in the comments and call me gross, whatever. But my thing with the boyfriends that he used to go on runs every morning and work out, and whenever he came back all sweaty, I loved his natural smell. I loved the sweaty smell, and I used to smell his armpit, and that was like our little, the couples thing. That was a little thing. So the fact that I did that with another guy, he said it really hurt him. So yes, we all act stupid in our 20s. But Kwame and Chelsea, they go back to their room and they have a little talk. And she asked him, so did you get your closure? This man, he says, not fully, but enough. And she's like, not fully? What else do you want? You want to make out with her? And a long time ago, someone told me that closure, it's within yourself. It's not, you don't have to reach out to other people and talk to other people to get closure. Closure comes within yourself. So keep that in mind. For Kwame to say, not fully, I was just like, Chelsea girl, you got a lot of patience. So who's next? We got our favorite couple, Zach and Irina. First of all, Zach looks like one of the Property brothers. You know, Jonathan and I can't remember the name of the other one. They're twins. But that's who Zach reminds me of. Like, now I can't unsee it. So he was between level-headed Bliss and mean girl Irina. And Zach is a criminal defense lawyer. For him to have such a lack of better judgment between these two means that, like, if I was looking for a lawyer, he will be the last one on my list. If he was my lawyer, I'll be like, no, you're fired. He makes a connection with Bliss. I thought this was so silly because she knew I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack. You know that song? I hope you dance. I can't sing it because I'll probably get copyright. But I love that song. I knew that song when it first came out. I was still in Brazil watching CMT. It's a beautiful song. The video, it's Leanne with her daughter, and they're dancing around like little angels, like fairies. They're wearing like, flowy blue dresses. Let's talk about Cupcake Gate. Long story short, it's Zach's birthday. Bliss remembers that it's his birthday and she's baking him cupcakes, all wifey-like. Irina here doesn't remember his birthday. She basically only knows because this one is baking the cupcakes. Irina goes to Bliss, has the audacity to ask her for one of her candles. She says, I'm not gonna do anything for him, but can I have one of your candles? Oh my gosh. And props to Bliss, because I think, any girl that's, kind of like a pushover or a snowflake or doesn't want to cause any drama would say, like, sure, here's a candle, sure. Bliss says, and she says very politely, she's like, I think that would be really awkward and I'll prefer not. And I'll actually like for us not to talk about him to each other because, it's awkward and I hope you respect that. The audacity to ask for that candle, I was like, my jaw dropped. Like, you're going for the same man. I'm like, Irina, you're like borderline psychotic. Zach picks Irina, and I think he picked her because they connected through trauma bonding. It happens a lot, usually people that go through childhood trauma or, relationship trauma, they bond because they had that experience. And with Zach was because, his mom was a stripper, struggled to put food on the table. It was just him and his mom. His mom passed away. And then as soon as he told that story, Irina said, oh yeah, I came from Russia, our family, we didn't have a lot of means. There were a lot of Christmases that we didn't have Christmas under the tree. So I think for Zach, he's like, oh, she had a similar past as mine. And with Bliss, I think he felt the pressure of not living up to her parents' expectations, because Bliss said that, yeah, my dad never liked any of my exes. And she never reassured Zach and said that, my dad never liked any of my exes, but he would love you. She just said he doesn't like my exes. So I think like Zach was kind of, fearful of that. Zach and Irina's first meeting, when they meet in person, was the cringiest thing I've seen in a long time on TV, or ever maybe. When he whispered in her ear, do you want a kiss? And good for him for asking, consent. He said, do you want a kiss? And she goes, oh, I was just like in awe. She's like, just a hug for, the way she said it, she's like, just a hug for now. I was like, oh my God. And she kept pointing out all these things about him. She kept saying he looks like a cartoon. And in her interviews, she says, I thought he would be more normal. And Bliss tried to warn him about Irina. Remember when they were talking and he said to her, because Bliss told him about the cupcake candle story, and she said she pulled Irina to the side to hash it out. And then he said he didn't like that she had said, something bad about Irina, like you can't trust her, something like that. And it's really hard because, yeah, you don't want to, in this type of show, you don't want to bad mouth other people, especially like women, you don't want to talk bad about each other. But in that moment, I thought Bliss, like, she made such a good point. I can't remember the specific word that she said to him, but she basically explained to him that, look, you see her in circumstances that I don't. And I see her in circumstances that you don't at the women's, living quarters. When she's here with you, she's selling a product. She's selling herself, this like shiny object. She's trying to make you love her. So you only going to see the best side of her. I, however, see the real side of her. Me and all the other girls see how she is, at the living quarters, because she's not trying to impress me. She's not trying to make me like her. So I see how she is. And I thought it was so odd that Zach picked Irina, because he was telling her, he called her vicious. He explained that, I don't know if he used the right word, but he said that I feel like if somebody hurts you or the people that you love or care about, you will hurt them back. And he called her vicious. Let's talk about the ick that Irina talked about having towards Zach. The ick, it's very normal. It's very common, actually, if people actually admit it. It's just, it's one of those feelings that's like, it's one of the most hurtful feelings to have towards someone because it's so unexplainable. I had that towards a guy that I was like quickly dating, but the man was gorgeous. He was just like a movie star, and he was so kind, so polite. When he kissed me, I was like, or when he like touched me, I was like, and it's not a disgusting feeling. It's not like you don't have disgust by the person. You just have that ick. Has anyone ever felt like that towards someone? Do you feel guilty? Because I feel guilty about feeling that ick. Let me know in the comments down below. Please share your stories. But if she had that ick from the beginning, because we saw that she had that ick from the moment they met, they shouldn't have even gone to Mexico. I mean, I understand it's a free vacation, free hotel, all you can drink, all you can eat, but is it worth it? Okay, we got company. Hold my thoughts. Oh. On their last day in Mexico, Irina and Zach had this conversation in bed, which I thought it was the most honest conversation I've ever seen in a Love is Blind. I think she said that we should, oh no, this is what she said. She said that on the plane ride home, they should sit in different seats. They shouldn't sit together. I was just like, wow, you like in some other level. And he said, let's just end it right now. Let's just not move forward. And I'm like, okay, good for you, Zach. He says, we should have ended 3 days after we met, or like 3 days in the vacation. And she said, we should have ended the day we met. And when I first met Irina, I thought she was going to be a cool chick. You know, when she was saying that she had all this insecurities about her acne because she had really bad acne growing up, and then now she has the scars and she tries to hide with her hair, but she's very self-conscious about it. Once again, I thought, it's like, wow, she's gonna be like cool. It's so interesting that that saying hurt people, you know, because I think that's like Irina is the perfect example why she's like so mean to other people. It's because she was bullied, and you know, bullies, they ended up becoming, you know, the people that are bullied, they ended up becoming bullied themselves. And then we see that Zach is having a conversation with Paul saying that things are not working with him and Irina. And Paul says, do you feel like you made the wrong choice, that you should have proposed to Bliss? And when you go back home, do you think you reach out to her? And he says, something I gave him credit for. Zach says, Bliss deserves to be with someone that chooses her. But even if him and Bliss get together, she will always be his second choice, you know? Just like the whole Jared, Ayana, Mallory thing. And it's funny because that little chat, okay, like back the truck up. Kwame and Chelsea and Mika, little triangle in that talk when they first met, reminded me when Jared first met Mallory and he was with Ayana, and poor Ayana had to watch that whole thing. So when Zach told Paul that she deserves someone that chooses her, but then he goes, when they go back to Seattle, he reached out to her and sets up this meeting. I was like, but you didn't choose her. We see that they will meet at this restaurant. What do you think Bliss will say? Let me know in the comments down below. I will say, run, Bliss, run. Stay away. And before you do that, before you run, wave your little finger and say, I told you so. I told you so about Irina. And Netflix kind of spoiled that moment for us because on the trailer, we see that there's someone, we only hear the voice and see the hands, someone saying, I made the wrong choice. You know I did. I know I did. And when I saw that in the trailer, that voice stuck in my head. So as soon as I saw how things were going with Irina and Zach, I was like, that's going to be him. He's going to reach out to Bliss and try to, you know, get back with her. So that trailer kind of like spoiled things. Speaking of Netflix and spoiling, you know, like a fun fact that I've learned, you know, the iconic glasses that they drink of, it can be like a wine glass, a stem glass, or a mug. They're like, you can't see what's on the inside, and now like everyone wants those glasses. I thought it was really odd because I thought they were props in the pods, and then when they go to the real world and they're leaving the apartments, they're still drinking from the same glass. I was like, Why are they drinking from this glass? I found out that's for the sake of editing. Because, you know, the beautiful thing about editing, you can make whatever storyline you want with the power of editing. And producers don't want to see someone drinking and their drink is full. And then 2 seconds later, when you show that person again, their drink is like this. So if you're smart, like if you're a smart audience, you could figure out where their story is going or what they cut it out or not. So I thought that was really interesting that there's a reason why we don't see what they're drinking. Because sometimes I want to know, it's like, are you a martini person? Are you a beer guy? Are you drinking wine? What kind of wine? But we never see it. A couple of things that I would like to touch base on outside of the couples is one, I'm amazed about how much women care about our looks and how men see us. Like Mika, when she's about to reveal herself, and she's got like beautiful blonde extensions. You could tell she had a little lip filler, you know, white teeth. She's like a pretty dress. She's a very beautiful girl. She actually looked like a Disney princess. But she said that it will be a big hit on my ego if he doesn't like what he sees. And Jaclyn, who is stunning, like I said, spitting image of Selena. She's like Raven stunning. Remember Raven from last season too? Very few, very rare type of women that actually looked prettier without makeup on than with makeup on. It's like some women, you know, they look more like clownish when they put makeup on, but once they took it off, you're like, man, like you're much prettier without makeup on. And Raven and Jaclyn are one of those, because we've seen Raven, you know, when she's in her PJs with SK, they're in their apartment, and I was like, oh my gosh, Raven, it's such like all natural. When Jaclyn is going to meet Marshall, she's talking about that I'm a weenie meanie, I got no boobs, I don't have a Nick Minaj big ass, and she has a nice butt. It's just like, you know, Jackie, Nick Minaj's ass, it's not real, so don't worry about it. But when she says, she's like, I got no boobs, so if he wants some breasts, he's gonna have to go to the chicken place. And I know that for a show like Love's Blind, that's a woman's like biggest worry, that, okay, he fell in love with me, you know, because of this and this, but what about all of this? Is he gonna like it? But if you look at the man, I can't, like, at least this season, because I can't remember details from past seasons, you don't see one man saying like, oh man, I don't know if she's gonna like this body. I don't know if I have enough muscles for her. I don't know if I shave it right, she's gonna like my hair. You don't see that. But my predictions, straightforward. I don't think any of these couples are gonna make it. I am really rooting for Brett and Tiff. And they might say yes at the altar, but I don't think they're gonna survive in real life. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something off between them. It seems like they tolerate each other, and it seems like they really like each other. But the like, it doesn't, like, the puzzle doesn't fit between them, you know? And this season so far, in all honesty, it's not my favorite season. I think it's the whole Mean Girls effect, you know. I did not like to see that there was like the cliques between the girls, and maybe I'm spoiled because on I binged the Brazilian Love is Blind. The girls, they were so close, and when you watch them on Instagram, they hang out, they formed this friendship between them. I thought it was so beautiful to see. And speaking of Love is Blind in Brazil, you know, it's very interesting, the age range. Because in Brazil, if you don't know, we don't leave our parents' house until we get married. So everyone in the show, we're all in their 30s. I think the youngest person I've seen in Brazil Love is Blind was maybe like 28, 29, but everyone was like mid, late 30s. I remember there was a girl that she was like 39. The guys were like, I think there was a guy that was like 42 years old or 41, but everyone was like in the 30s range. And that's a more realistic, I think, age to, you know, find a husband and wife than like in your 20s, especially nowadays. So these were my thoughts on episodes 1 through 5 of season 4 of Love is Blind. We're getting new episodes next week. I think it's on Friday. So I'm hoping to break down those episodes as well. So, you know, make sure you stay tuned and let me know in the comments down below. What are your predictions so far? Who is your favorite couple? And if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you next time.